Liars of Reddit. What was the biggest lie you got away with? But most amusing. My wife and I were in Mexico, stopped at a convenience store to get some snacks and stuff. The clerk told her how much it was, in Spanish. My wife looked confused for a moment, so I repeated the total for her in English. I could tell it made an impression on her. For a long time after, when talking about foreign language, she would tell people how quickly I pick up on it when traveling. I know this was when she first formed that opinion. I've never told her. I read the number on the cash register. I did a deposit at the bank the business I work for uses about 6 months ago as a quick favor before a shift, and the manager remarked to an employee that had his back turned to me while I was there that he appreciated his Senegalese attention to detail. Fast forward 2 months later, and I'd go in and do another deposit at the same bank, but this time it's with the Senegalese guy, and I asked him how to pronounce his last name while we were making small talk, and he tells me how, and that it's French. So I do a squinty look, like I'm thinking really hard, and say that would make you Senegalese? He slapped the table with both hands and had the biggest smile on his face, like he was blown away that I had guessed right. In total disbelief that an American had deduced that so quickly. So he asks me how I knew he was from there, and I just said he didn't look like he was from Tunisia or Algeria, so Senegal was a safe bet, and he told me that was great reasoning. A couple years ago I started seeing a therapist I didn't want my parents to know about. I was 18, so I didn't need them to sign on, and I paid out of pocket with money from a part-time job I had. My brother and I shared a car, but since he was at college out of town it was effectively mine, and I used it to get to my therapist's office. I went to my appointments at the same time every week and told my mom that I was going out with some friends for bingo night at a local pizza parlor. Since I actually did have a history of going out to play board games with friends, this didn't raise any suspicion. One day about a month into this, I walk out of my appointment to see my mom's car parked next to mine. I think fuck it's over now, I gotta tell her, and walk over. She's standing by her car. When I walk over, I'm not sure if she saw me come out of the building, but I think she must have. She said something to the effect of shitposting. What are you doing here? I said something like and she goes, did you come out here to be alone? So I just went with it, put on a sheepish face, and said something like yeah, pretty much. She says yeah, I come out here too when I need to cry sometimes. I didn't know what to say to that, so I gave her a hug, drove off to run some other errands, then went home. She never brought it up again, and I continued seeing that therapist for 7 months with no one the wiser. I have no idea how my mom didn't pick up on it then. Writing this, I wonder if maybe she did, she just didn't want to confront me about it or something. But then again, I doubt it. My mom can be pretty oblivious. Still, for those 8 months no one knew I was seeing anyone, or, from what I know, suspected anything. My best friend has a funny cool older brother named Jason. We all went to church together, and eventually me and my buddy got old enough for youth group where Jason was. Well, the first time I ever met my youth pastor, Jason turns to me and says, hey, make up a fake name and just roll with it. The youth pastor was similar to Jason in that they both were big jokesters, so I shook his hand and said, hi, I'm Derek Johnson, possibly one of Joel's name out there, but not my real name. He welcomed me and then left to prepare his lesson. Obviously me and my buddies lose it and burst out laughing as soon as he walks away. Soon enough he starts his lesson, and I'm waiting until after to tell him I'm not Derek Johnson. Well, as I'm about to break the news, Jason stops me and convinces me to keep it going. Says it'll fade out eventually. It did not. We got super into it, and eventually it became natural. 2 entire years spent of conditioning myself to only respond to Derek when called by people at church and my real name everywhere else. We would go on a bunch of field trips to various places including Disney, where my ticket even said Derek Johnson on it. One day we were paintballing and me and my pastor began talking about life. He asked what my dad does for a living, and I talked about the software distribution company he works for. Apparently 25 years ago my youth pastor also worked for the same company and sat next to my dad, who he plays golf with regularly. That was quite a moment to get caught in, haha. One of my teachers in 8th grade gave me a 0 for a project I didn't turn in. I told her I did it and handed it in. She said that she felt bad that she lost my work and that I wasn't getting credit for all of the effort I put into the assignment. So she gave me 100 for a project I never did. I'm a goody two shoes, so the fact that I did that and got away with it still blows my mind to this day.